Time for another Soccer Down Here 1v1, and we catch up with folks in Columbus. You go down 85, then you go down 185. The last city right there at the end of 185, commonly known as Columbus, Georgia. The NPSL and Columbus joining forces and hanging out with us, part of the brain trust behind it, John Dale Hester. JD, thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
Oh, glad to do it. Thanks for having me.
All right, so let me go back and explain your history. You're a local, Columbus High School, and you and I kind of we had a shared experience over the short porch and right field at the baseball stadium there at Columbus High. They list it at 302 when it's really like 287, but that's my exposure to Columbus High through high school and everything. How did you gravitate towards soccer in the first place, and what was life like for you in Columbus growing up?
Sure. So I remember vividly my first experience with soccer. We were down at the park, and my dad said, "Hey, you want to play soccer?" And I said, "Sure. What's that?" And he says, "Well, you play it with a ball and you kick it." I said, "Okay." So I was 7 and signed up. We didn't win a single game that year. We scored one goal, um, and but had a blast. And kept playing and was on one of the first travel teams out of Columbus, and just really fell in love with the sport here. From a age of 7, whole family really fell in love with it. My dad became real involved with Columbus Youth Soccer. He started reffing. He coached 3 or 4 teams, not mine, but just other teams that needed a coach. And then when I was in the fifth, sixth grade, he and a couple other guys around here led the charge to get soccer in Muskogee County School District. So my seventh grade year, back then it was junior high instead of middle school. I went to Richards Junior High. That was the first year that soccer was in Muskogee County School District. And we played on football fields with the H goalpost, which wasn't a regulation goal, dropped a bar down. So it was 8 feet across, and that was what we played on. But it was just important to get it into the schools, and, took off from there.
What has it been like for you to see the sport continue to grow there in that footprint in the Columbus, Phoenix City area over time, after your time in high school and college, and now that you're an adult? What's it been like to see it grow, and where is it right now? How would you characterize it?
So I'll describe it like this as far as seeing it grow. When I left here, and I went to Oglethorpe University, played soccer up there. We had, I think, 7 or 8 guys that we graduated with that went and played college soccer. For back in 91, that was probably unheard of. And even today, I doubt we have that many coming out of Columbus on there. But I remember vividly coming back, um, I guess after my junior year of school, and was asked to play in an adult league match out at the new complex that was here. And I went out there and just my jaw dropped. We played in Bibb City, which is a little part of Columbus that was a mill town. Dirt fields. We would walk across picking up rocks and glass before matches. And then to come home and see this nice, at the time, it was probably one of the nicest complexes in the state. Just soccer, just blown away. Think, wow, Columbus has really come a long way. Now I look at it, and we've got just a big soccer culture here. My kids played. There's probably 1,500 plus that play Columbus Youth Soccer. I don't know how many play for Concord South here. Used to be CFC Red Star and then joined Concord a couple of years ago. But they've got probably 2 or 3 teams in each age group when you add the boys and girls together. CSU, Columbus State University's got a top year-over-year top 10 D2 program. And it's just really, just taking off here. And it's one of those things when you go to a high school match, and we would have, a couple hundred kids out there. still probably not as big as football, but the students were getting behind it. It's no more of this, hey, what's soccer? And you kind of got made fun of for playing it like I did growing up. It's become the norm.
Why get into the ownership side of things?
Interesting story. So, a friend of mine, Mike Hitchcock, we played together growing up. He went on to play at VCU and started working for DC United. He's in my wedding. We lost touch, I don't know, years back. Hadn't spoken to him in, like I said, years. And I get a call from him in August of 2020. And he says, hey, we've been doing research on markets to put minor league soccer teams in. Columbus is near the top of the list. What do you think? I said, well, maybe. Um, so we got to talking about it. I was awfully nervous about, I don't know what I don't know, and how, can he and I go and do something like this, and what's it going to involve, and how much is it really going to cost, and that sort of thing, right? So I got cold feet, pumped the brakes a little bit. He went on to launch Appalachian FC in 21, Lubbock Matadors in 22, Annapolis Blues in 23. And last fall, we were talking again, and I said, all right, I'm in. And we started working probably December of last year, bringing this in. And what really did it for me, though, was going and seeing, my wife and I went and saw the opening Annapolis Blues game, 8,500 fans, maybe a little bit more, folks tailgating, kids getting autographs. I mean, just an unbelievable experience, more like a college football kind of environment down here than what you think of as a soccer environment.
So we
So
go ahead, keep going. You're
no, I was
good.
just say so Hitch is the reason why I got into the ownership side of this, and just excited to really do something in our hometown, and to do something where we're going to hopefully make it just this fun, vibrant, fan experience. Because unlike some of the other minor league sports that we have here, where you've got 30, 40, 50 games in a season, we've got 6, 7, 8 chances to get it right. So we're really focused on building that super fan experience.
There's always a to-do list. And I mean, it can be in a couple of different places. I mean, it could be in, it could be in a document that you have in your phone. You pull out your stylus, you have an idea, you write it down, you jam the stylus back in, you put your phone back away, and it exists there. Could exist in like a group, group chat or something like that. Could be on a notepad, could be something like I'm holding up right here for as you and I are looking at each other. Could be a legal pad, could be magnets on the fridge where you sit there and you've got an idea at 2:30 in the morning and the list exists, or it could be on one of those big 6-foot by 8-foot dry erase boards that has arrows going all over the place in different colors, that's off camera as you and I are staring at each other. Where is that to-do list? Because everybody sits there and they look at an announcement. You sit there and you say, we're going to do it for X season. Oh, yeah, that's down the road. Yeah, no problem. But no, it's going to come sooner rather than later, and it's going to come faster than a lot of folks think. Where is that to-do list? How busy is that to-do list? And what do you think the next thing that you can cross off of that to-do list is?
So we manage the to-do list on a application called Basecamp, and all the ownership group and then all the staff that's working on it has access to that. So we've got um, our to-do list on there, and then all the documents associated with what we're doing here. So it's one location. Message each other back and forth, get updates, get reminders, get kind of nasty grams if you haven't done what you're supposed to do. So we've got a pretty good system for that. And one of the things that I'm really fortunate with, being a new owner and not knowing what the heck I'm doing, is I'm relying on Mike Hitchcock and his experience and the team that he's bringing to the table with this, as a co-owner partner with this, to he's got the playbook, he's got the tasks that we need to do, and that sort of stuff. That makes me feel a heck of a lot better. As far as the next thing that we're going to cross off of our to-do list, we just closed down our fan vote for name the team. We had 5 great options. Our club that we grew up playing with was Columbus United. Day one, I said, let's have that as an option. May not win, but let's have that. It's got some sentimental value. Hitch agreed, so that was one of them. Then we've got ties into the military here. So Fort Moore used to be Fort Benning's, our immediate southern border. And Hitch's dad was a Ranger battalion leader. And so one of the things that we wanted to do was make sure we had something military. It's like, Columbus Rangers is something, and it's kind of got the tie in with Hitch's dad. I remember the colonel and some of the life lessons and that sort of stuff that he taught us. And again, that was one. Columbus Cavalry was another military tie-in. Fort Benning, now Fort Moore, was the home of the infantry, and then now it's a maneuver center of excellence, and they have cavalry elements in. So we thought that was kind of a cool name. Columbus Classics was one that we came up with, and as everybody that's from Columbus knows, Coca-Cola was invented here. Even though when you go to the Coke Museum in Atlanta, we don't get credit. Dr. Pemberton had his pharmacy here and was invented Coke before he moved to Atlanta. So we had kind of this fun scene of Columbus with a script that reminded you of Coca-Cola, but wasn't a Coke script, so we wouldn't get sued. And then our last option was Chattahoochee FC. So the Chattahoochee River runs straight through Columbus, separates Georgia and Alabama, Columbus and Phoenix City, and we've got the world's largest whitewater course that runs straight through downtown. And so we had a cool logo design there where there's a C with that was actually looked like a raft, and then crossed oars over there. So again, just had some really good options. Put it out to a fan vote. We closed that on Friday. I know the winner. Hitch knows the winner, but we're not telling that until we do our big brand reveal. We're planning the party for that now. So that's kind of the next thing to do for us, is to do the brand reveal and everything associated with that, and the initial merchandise that we'll put up for sale when we do our party, and some giveaways and that sort of stuff.
So when is that date, sir?
So we don't have the date yet.
Okay.
We're targeting the first couple of weeks of October, but we want to have Hitch and a lot of the folks that aren't local to be able to come in to town. So it's just coordinating schedules and then working with some partners as far as the venue goes for that, to make sure it works with them. We're thinking we're probably going to do it on Wednesday to try to make it friendly for a lot of the soccer community to come in, because I don't know if this is just a Columbus thing, but it seems like everybody practices on Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and not on Wednesdays. So we felt like, and we didn't want to get in the weekend, because you got travel soccer, you got college football, you got everybody's weekend plans. So probably looking at maybe the 11th, but we haven't finalized the date yet.
JD Hester hanging out with us, one of the co-founders of Columbus NPSL franchise, columbusnpsl.com, and they're also on the other social medias, on the 280 character app at Columbus NPSL. They're also on the Facebook at Columbus GANPSL, and on the IG or the Gram or the Insta or whatever the kids are calling it these days, Columbus GANPSL on all of the social medias. And, if you ever want to come and break news, you can always come and break news with us here at SDH. I will give you golden ticket status. You can open the door and knock on it and go, John, I've got some, I want to break news on the show. You can do that at any time. What's the response been like since the announcement?
So really positive. One of the cool things to me was, so we put our season ticket package out for sale the day we did the launch announcement. And we're doing a cool kind of promotion with that, and said, all right, the first 11 groups, so not 11 individuals, that go ahead and buy season tickets, you're going to be known as the starting 11, and we're going to do some cool stuff with that and some more activities once we launch and once the season gets underway. And we haven't named our venue. We're working through 3 to 4 good options with that. But we're giving away a jersey as a part of the season tickets. We put them on sale for $120. Doesn't matter how many games we have, we make it the playoffs. You don't get charged anymore. So, of course, I've got friends and family that are going to go and purchase a couple, right? And then I think it was the second day that we were live. It's like, I don't know who the heck this person is that just bought season tickets. And, next day there's another one. So just seeing that come in where it's people that have no connection to me personally or to Hitch or, um, you know, Columbus High soccer or whatever, just, strangers that are just soccer supporters going in and buying it. And then, writing comments on there, want to know more about da 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 da. So that's been a really cool thing to see.
And I know at the same time, when it comes to other individuals that you're looking for to be a part of either the organization on the pitch or off, you're looking for a specific kind of individual that will help you continue to convey the messaging and the branding and the attitude that you're looking for Columbus's franchise there in the NPSL. What kind of individuals are you looking for that can best represent what you and Hitch stand for when it comes to presentation, straight up in the community, those kinds of folks? What kind of folks are you looking for that can fit what you guys are looking for?
So I will use a phrase that was shared with me probably 25 years ago. By at the time, he was the president of American Express. And he said, look, when we hire somebody, we hire either one or two ways, the will or the skill. And he said, the skill is you got all the tools, the resume, all that sort of stuff. The will is you just got that hunger and that desire and that drive. And ideally, you find somebody that has both of those, the will and the skill. But if you can only have one of those, which one are you going to hire? And I thought about it for a second. I was like, I'm going to hire the will. I said, my thought is I can teach the skill to folks. But you got to have that desire, that work ethic. You've got to be able to, have that integrity. And you've got to just want to do it. It's got to be a passion. So you have to have that will and that drive. So I'd say first and foremost, that's it. And then, in addition to that, we want to make sure that somebody that's going to be a team player, that's going to put others before themselves. The company that I worked for, we were big believers in servant leadership. And, you put others before yourself, you put your customers before yourself, you put your coworkers before yourself. And that to me is just something that has to be there. It's not just leading by example. It is really that servant leadership attitude is, I think, really important.
So when it comes to folks who have reached out to you and the organization, how far flung have the WhatsApp, texting, phone calls, emails been like? How far around the planet are we talking here?
So one of the things that's been pretty cool is we've had a lot of folks that we played with growing up that have reached out to us that don't live in Columbus anymore. Either in my old college roommate, who I haven't spoken to in 20 something years, played soccer with him up at Oglethorpe. I see that he's, submitted a fan vote and some questions for us. Reached out to him. Is this the same Willie Luco that was my roommate and Oglethorpe soccer legend? Love to connect with you. So we spent 45 minutes on the phone last Friday catching up. And he's like, how can I be a part of this? And just that sort of response from, reconnecting with people that you've lost touch with has been cool. Was emailing yesterday with a lady that a couple years older, played soccer at one of the local high schools here and haven't seen her since high school kind of thing. But she had reached out, lives up in Virginia, and just kind of cool to, again, to reconnect with folks like that. Then we've had the people that we haven't known or don't know that have come in and said, "Hey, I want to be a part of this." You know, just interested in interning, interested in some kind of a job, just want to be a part. So that's been fun too. So another thing that's on our to-do list is following back up with the people that have reached out and, connecting with them and taking the time to, have a conversation, say, all right, what is it? And start to build another list of people that can maybe help us do this.
Looking forward to seeing the results, the name, the branding, all of that stuff coming up next month. The JD Hester, part of the Brain Trust, along with it's JD and it's the JD and Hitch show, or is it Hester and Hitch, or how are we playing this here?
We hadn't really talked about it, but it's funny. Back in when we were growing up, I always called Hitch Mike, and when all of a sudden when we reconnected and all that, everybody's calling him Hitch. And I think it was probably his senior year of high school. He started like trying to get people to call him Hitch. And I think when he went to VCU, it's just like, all right, we're making the turn here. We're going full in on Hitch. And then I was John Dale, first and middle name, but that's just a mouthful.
Or
So
when somebody's mad at you.
my mother, but anyway, when so just JD became kind of how I was known for soccer, and the other day, after we put out the press release, my mom said to me, "So, are you going by JD now and not John Dale?" I said, "Mom, everybody on the soccer field and in the soccer communities call me JD my whole life." She's, "Oh, really?"
Oh man. Well,
So
I
yeah,
mean, if you're trying to get somebody to pass the ball to you, or get their attention, have you pass the ball to them? I mean, if it's like JD to your left,
that's
JD
right.
instead of John Dale to your
Right.
left. I mean, it's a lot faster. It's all about the communication when it comes to football. I completely understand the JD.
Absolutely.
All right, so it's ColumbusNPSL.com, and it's all across all the social medias where you can catch up with what's going on as they are this close. And I'm holding my thumb and index finger about an inch apart from the brand release. They're down to the final five. Follow them on the 280 character app, Facebook, on the IG or the Gram, and at ColumbusNPSL.com. JD, thanks for hanging out with us here for a Soccer Down Here 1v1. We are looking forward to the brand release and the JD and Hitch show coming up this season in the NPSL. Thanks for hanging out with us for a 1v1.
Oh man, thank you for having me. This has been a lot of fun and can't wait to do it again.